I'm not engaged, I'm so sorry. I kind of feel bad. I knew that I was going to be like kind of clickbaiting this video just a little bit, like just enough for you guys to be like, wait, what? Stop yelling at me. I couldn't not do it, okay? These rings are very fake, but how dope would that be as like a wedding band and ring? I mean, that'd be kind of cool, no? So I'm not engaged. I'm not getting married anytime soon, I think. But I realized that I've never done a bridal tutorial on my channel. I think I did one years ago, like when I still lived in my parents' house, so that must have been like 6 or 7 years ago at this point. And I felt like it was time that I finally did one, and I thought it'd be really cool to do my makeup as if it was my wedding. I thought it may be interesting for you guys to see if I were to get married tomorrow, this would be the makeup that I would put on my face. To be honest with you guys, I've been very conflicted about whether or not I would do my own makeup on my wedding day. Like, this is something that I often think about, because I feel like on one hand, I would probably be the best person to do my own makeup because I just know my face the best and I know what I like and I know what like products work and all of that. But on the other hand, I can't imagine I would be calm enough to actually like do a winged eyeliner. It's already stressful to get your wings even, like put on top a wedding day. That freaks me out. Like, I think I would have to practice doing my makeup like 30 times before my wedding to actually feel confident and comfortable going in. Like, I would film a tutorial and then I would follow my own tutorial. Honestly, I'm excited about this video. I'm interested to see what this look is going to end up looking like. I kind of have a good idea of what I would do on my wedding day. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy today's video. Let me know down below if you're getting married soon, what type of look you're gonna do. If you've already gotten married in the past, what type of makeup did you do on your wedding day? Even if you never plan on getting married, just let me know, like hypothetically, what would be the ideal look you would wear on your wedding day. I'm curious. Let's get into it. I was a freelance makeup artist in a past life, and I did do a couple brides during my time as a freelance makeup artist. So I feel like I do have like slight experience doing bridal makeup, and whenever I did bridal makeup, I always really focused on skincare. Like, prep was a really big thing. I always stress the importance of skincare and prep in any of my makeup tutorials, but I mean, especially on your wedding day, girl, you need to like baby your skin. And that's not saying that your skin has to be like flawless or like blemish free on your wedding day. What I'm saying is, though, it's important to make sure your skin is like properly hydrated and moisturized. I feel like that's so important. When your skin is too dry, even if you have an oilier skin type, your makeup's just not gonna last or look as good as it possibly can. And I feel like on your wedding day is like the one day where you need to carve out 7 hours to do your makeup. And that includes like 3 hours of skincare prep. So my face is already cleansed, and I did also very lightly exfoliate it. I didn't want to go in with a super rough exfoliator because I don't want my skin to be in any way inflamed or red. Now, what I really like to do, especially before big events, is to put on a hydrating mask right before applying my makeup. So this right here is a SkinCeuticals Hydrating B5 Mask. You leave this on your face for like 10-15 minutes, and when you take it off, your skin's just gonna look really nice and moisturized and hydrated and radiant. Let's put that on, shall we? I'm going to take about this much, just put a nice layer all over my face. I would also say, if you are planning on doing a mask the day of your wedding, don't do a mask that you've never used before. Make sure you've tried it before. Make sure it works for your skin and it does what you want it to do. If there's any day not to try new products, it's the day of your wedding, or really any big special event. You want to use products that you know, that you love, that work really well for you. So I'm just gonna let this mask sit for 10-15 minutes, do its work, and then I'll be back to continue the prep. All right, I'm back. I wiped off some of the excess mask that was still left over on my face. My face is feeling really nice. I'm now gonna go in with some moisturizer. This is a little bit bougier than I would normally go, but I do really like this moisturizer from Onward Vixa. The name is long and confusing. I don't know exactly how to say it, but it's something along those lines. This is a really great moisturizer. It's called the Instant Plumping Cream. This is a very thick moisturizing cream, and I really like the way it sits underneath makeup. So I'm just going to massage this into my skin. Of course, I'm also going to apply an eye cream. This is my SkinCeuticals Age Complex, and just massage that underneath the eyes. Of course, you can never forget about your lips, so I am going to prep my lips as well by exfoliating them first with this Lush lip scrub. Honestly, a lip scrub is not even necessary. You could just use like a dry toothbrush if you want. Just making sure that there are no flakes on your lips is definitely very important. For the lip balm, I'm gonna take my Bite Agave Nighttime Lip Therapy Lip Balm. This is a really nice, very nourishing, thick lip balm. I'm gonna put a pretty thick layer of the stuff just to kind of protect my lips and really deeply moisturize them as I'm applying the rest of my makeup. Last but not least, I'm gonna spray my face with the Amor Vixa, still not saying that right, Queen of Hungry Mist. This is just a really nice hydrating mist, just the finishing touch in this skin prep routine. So now that our skin is very well prepped, it's not necessary to go in with like a hydrating primer or anything like that because the skin is hydrated. So the only primer that I would really want to use is like a corrective primer or a long wearing primer. Now I really won't do this often, but when I want really perfect looking skin, I will go in with a pore refining type of primer. So I'm gonna be taking my Tatcha, the Skin Canvas primer. This is a product that actually took me a really long time to like. At first when I started using it, I really didn't like it because I felt like it balled up on my skin when I used it. But the trick is to use a super small amount of this. It does a really good job of just smoothing over your pores and creating a nice flawless canvas. So I'm just taking the primer and I'm just very gently dabbing it over my cheeks because that's where my pores are the largest. And I want my foundation to just glide over that area. Now, even though we just prepped the skin beautifully, we are not going into the foundation just yet. I do want to do my eyes first, and that's because I just want to make sure that if I get any fallout, I'm going to be able to very cleanly wipe it away. So I'm going to start off first by prepping my lids with a little bit of concealer. You could totally use an eyeshadow primer here if you want to. I just find that concealer works just fine. This is the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. This is what I'm going to be using underneath my eyes today, so I'm going to use the same one on my lids. Putting a couple dots. You really don't want to over apply primer, you want just a nice thin layer across the lid. So for my eyeshadow, I am going to be using neutrals. I feel like that's probably not surprising. I'm going to be using the Natasha Denona Biba palette. This is my favorite neutral palette. I feel like this is a palette that I could kind of always depend on. The shadows in here just blend so nicely. I never have any issues with them. And again, on your wedding day, you wanna make sure that you're using those tried and true products that you know work really, really well. This is an eyeshadow palette that I feel like I always have good eyeshadow looks with. For me, I would wanna look like myself, just enhanced. I don't wanna be too dramatic or too over the top. I kinda just wanna do what I normally look like, just like a little bit more refined. So I think I'm gonna be doing just a nice, simple smoky eye, really focusing on the outer corner. And I really wanna do a smoky wing because, like I said at the beginning of the video, how in the hell are you supposed to create a perfect wing with the pressure of your wedding? Like, I don't know how anybody can do it. I cannot imagine not doing a wing because I really just like the way it changes my eye shape. So I think the best compromise is to do a smoky wing because you can be kind of imperfect with the application and it's still gonna look really, really beautiful. So I'm first going to take the shade Tusk, which is the perfect transition shade because it's nice and neutral, and I'm gonna use that on a Smith 232. Make sure all of your brushes are clean when you're doing your makeup because you wanna make sure that you're not applying any colors that you unexpectedly didn't know was on your brush. So I'm just applying this right above my crease, and I'm gonna start to kind of flick out the eyeshadow to start to create the shape that I want. You guys know the drill with this. Okay, once that's been put down, I'm gonna go into a clean brush, something a little bit smaller and more precise. This is my Smith 235. So it goes to a little bit more of a point and it's a little bit less fluffy. And I'm going to use the shade Freckle, which is this mid-tone brown right over here. It's another matte. I'm going to start to apply this on the outer corner of my eye and slightly into the crease. I don't really want my crease to be too heavy, so I'm only bringing it like maybe a quarter of the way. And I'm also starting to build up that smoky eyeliner shape by kind of dragging the eyeshadow down towards the center of my lash line. So now I'm going into an even smaller brush. This is my Smith 247. You can see the difference in sizes between the three brushes. This one is going to be more precise, so I'm going to use the shade Seed, which is a really nice neutral brown over here. Just picking up a little bit. You want to do a little bit at a time. You don't want to go in with too much pigment at once. And again, just kind of building up that depth right at that outer corner, being really precise with it. So before I go into the black and the liner, I'm gonna apply the lid shade. So I'm actually going to mix a little bit of Shine and Monroe together. This is more champagne, this is more pink. I'm gonna mix the two with my finger actually, because I find that's how you get the best color payoff with these shadows. And it creates a really nice reflective shade, and this looks gorgeous on the lid. I really love the look of a nice glowy lid. I wanna keep the lid nice and open and bright. That's why I'm using a light shade instead of something more smoky. Then I'm actually gonna go into Freckle again and just blend between where the lid shade meets the outer corner shades that we had already applied, just to make sure that there's a transition between the two. This is just a simple step that will make a really big difference in the end. So I'm actually gonna be using like a gel-like pencil liner. This is the Fenty Beauty Fly Pencil Longwear Pencil Eyeliner in 'Cause I'm Black. So I'm gonna start slowly just by creating a little bit of a wing right on that outer corner. Because this is a pencil, it's a little bit more difficult to be precise with it. But the trick is to just apply the product. Don't try and flick it out. Then you want to take a brush, preferably an angled brush that looks like this, because this is just going to help you pull that liner out into a nice wing shape. Again, it's okay if it's not perfect because we are going to be cleaning up the outer corner anyway and really sharpening up that wing. You just kind of want this to be the base. And then I'm going to go into a precise little smudger brush. This is my Real Techniques accent brush, and I'm gonna go into the black from the Natasha Denona palette, this one guy right over there. And I'm just gonna press this on top of the liner, and you can see it's just a really nice soft wing. And I'm gonna go into now a clean brush, and I'm gonna go back into Seed, which is the dark brown, and I'm gonna use this to kind of transition the black shade into the browns that we have already on the lid. And you just want to be patient with yourself when you're doing this. You don't want to over apply because then you'll kind of just ruin the whole thing. But if you're patient and you just take your time, you're going to get a really, really pretty effect. Then I'm going in with the same brush, going into Freckle, which is that mid-tone brown, and just putting that right above Seed so that it has something to blend into. And then I'm going to reapply the black right at the base of my lashes to keep that nice and intense, because you probably lost some of that intensity as you're blending. And then you have a really nice, soft, smoky wing. It looks a little bit messy on the outer corner. That's okay. Like I said, we are gonna be cleaning that up. You can see that I only brought the eyeliner halfway into my eye, and that's because I just kind of like the way that makes my eyes look. I find it just pulls my eyes out a little bit more, makes them look a little bit more cat-like, and it just keeps my eyes nice and open. So I'm gonna leave it like that, but I am going to take more of my eyeliner and line the inner rim of my lash line with this. Now again, you really do want to make sure that you're using an eyeliner that you know lasts on you. I find by lining that inner rim, it really just kind of completes it, because we didn't apply any black towards the inner corner of the eye. You don't want it to look too empty where it looks incomplete, but putting that liner on the inner rim is going to do that for you. So now I'm gonna go into an eye topper. Even though my lids are looking nice and metallic, I do want there to be a little bit of shimmer, and I really like the Natasha Denona Crystal Top Coats for just like a really sheer layer of shimmer. The Hourglass Scattered Light ones are also really pretty, but I find the Natasha Denona one to be a little bit more sheer. So I kind of like this when I have a more opaque eyeshadow already going on underneath. So I'm just gonna pick up some of this on my finger and just tap it where I already have that metallic shade, and this is just gonna add a little bit of an extra sparkle and glow. Nothing too crazy. I really don't want my eyes to be too shimmery or too intense. I want this look to age well, so I don't want to go over the top in any way. I just want a nice, healthy glow on my lids. So now that we are done with the eyeshadow for the top of the lid, I am gonna clean up everything that did fall underneath. But because we already prepped the skin, I'm not going to use a makeup remover. I don't wanna really like remove all of that nice moisture that we have. So I am going to go in instead with my eye cream. And this is a trick that I learned in makeup school. Using eye cream is a really great way to remove any fallout while not drying out the face with a remover. As a last step for blending the upper edge of the eyeshadow, I'm actually gonna take a pressed powder that matches my skin tone. This is my NARS Soft Velvet Pressed Powder in Desert. And I'm gonna grab the blending brush that I used for the transition shade, and I'm going to use this to just blend up right where my brow bone is. And this is just going to really make everything look like it's really blending into your skin so that there are no harsh lines. This is like my favorite blending trick. So for my foundation, I was debating between a few. I was going between this guy, which is the Laura Mercier Flawless Lumiere Radiance Perfecting Foundation, and my Lancome Teint Idole. But this guy does have a little bit more of a glow to it, whereas the Lancome foundation is more matte. So I wanted to go with this one. And I just really like this because it has really good coverage, it photographs really well, it doesn't look heavy, and it has a really nice natural finish that doesn't lean too matte or too glowy. It's kind of right in the middle. Also, make sure to use a foundation that matches you absolutely perfectly. If you don't know whether or not your foundation is that perfect match, you could always go to Sephora and they have that foundation matcher device that they're able to literally take a photo of your skin and tell you foundations that will actually match your skin perfectly. So it's a great way to kind of make sure that you're on the right track as far as your shade. So I'm going to use my beauty blender to apply this, and I'm going to go in with a small amount of product at a time and just build up as I feel necessary. I don't want to over apply this product. I'm just starting towards the center of my face and bringing it outwards. Always make sure to blend down your neck, blend on your ears. Foundation has been applied. Now for my concealer, I am going to be using my Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. This is actually pretty new in my collection, but I've been really enjoying this. I feel like this has really good coverage, but it looks really beautiful on the skin. It's not too heavy, and I really like the shade of it as well. This is 1.5N. You wanna make sure for the color that you're putting it underneath your eyes that it's not too crazy light, because sometimes when concealer is too light, it can look really exaggerated in flash photography. So you wanna go closer to your actual skin tone, maybe like half a shade lighter, like what I did here. So I'm gonna take a potted cream concealer to slightly highlight my face and also conceal a little bit more. This is my NARS Soft Matte Concealer in Light 2.5, and I'm taking this on a precise little flat brush. And I'm just going to use this to highlight. So I'm bringing this down the bridge of my nose. I'm not really highlighting too crazy. It's not super light, but it's light enough. My chin, the sides of my nose, because I do get more red there. And a little bit on the forehead. And then I'm just gonna pat that out. So before the under eye start to crease, I'm going to set with powder. So I'm going to take my Hourglass Veil. I love this powder because I find that it really smooths out the under eyes, but it doesn't give me any flashback. I am indeed baking today, which I never do, but again, if there's any day to do it, it would be your wedding day, because baking is really gonna lock everything in. So I'm just gonna let that sit for a few seconds. And then once enough time has passed, you just wanna take a fluffy brush with nothing on it, and you just wanna sweep everything away. Now, when I wanna create more of a long wearing look, I really like to layer my products. So I like to apply creams first and then lock those creams in with powders. And that is just going to really create a look that you know is gonna last you from daytime to nighttime. So for my cream bronzer, I'm gonna be taking my Huda Beauty Tantour in the shade Fair. I'm not using something like my Nude 6 Bondi Bay because that is a really emollient cream bronzer. That's really great for like day to day, but I find when I want to create more of like a long wearing glam look, it's not the best because it does kind of slip and slide a little bit more. This is a cream bronzer that stays more in place, so that's why I like it. And I'm just gonna take my beauty blender, I'm gonna take the butt of it and start to apply this where I would normally bronze. So my temples, my jawline, this is my jawline, and my cheekbones. And that is also why I did not powder anywhere else on my face other than my under eyes, because I knew I was applying creams. Like, look at that difference that makes. Bronzer is the best, man. You really want to make sure that you're blending the product into your hair and hairline so that there's no demarcation line anywhere to be seen. So now that the cream is laid down, I'm gonna put that powder bronzer on top to lock it in place. This is my Lila B Sun-Kissed Bronzed Beauty Bronzer. This is a really nice bronzer because it also does have a little bit of a sheen to it. It's not shimmery whatsoever, but it's not flat matte. Remember, it's always easier to build than to take away. So be cautious. And I'm just layering that where I applied that cream. It's not really gonna add much more color, but like I said, it's really gonna lock it down. So now that that's applied, I'm gonna contour with a cooler tone contour powder. So I'm actually gonna be taking this guy from Makeup Forever. This is S116. This is a really, really great contour powder if you're around my skin tone. And I'm gonna use this brush from Smith. It's the Smith 104. I really like this, especially for contour, because this is a very light and feathery brush. Like, it's not super dense at all, so you're not going to get a very intense line when you apply this. You're gonna get something really nicely diffused. I'm kind of tilting the brush upwards and I'm really sculpting out my cheekbone with this powder. It's a nice angled shape as well, so it just kind of fits really nicely underneath that cheekbone. I'm also applying some on my temple, really close to my hairline. And I'm gonna take a small clean brush and I'm gonna contour my nose as well. And when I'm contouring my nose, I'm really making sure to bring it kind of like underneath my brow a little bit. This is a trick that I learned when I did that Harush makeup tutorial. She brought her nose contour kind of underneath the brow. And I do find that kind of makes everything look a little bit more like one, so that you just don't have floating lines on your nose. Okay, now for blush, I'm going to again do the layering technique. So I'm going to take one of my Nude Sticks blushes in the nude. It's a really great, just nude pink blush, very simple. And instead of swiping this directly on my cheek like I normally would, I don't want it to like upset any foundation that's on my cheek. I'm gonna put it on the back of my hand. And I'm gonna take a brush, this is my Smith 130, pick up some of that product and just dot that on my cheeks in stabbing motions, patting motions, not swiping motions. With creams, you really don't wanna swipe, especially when we're going full coverage on the base. You don't wanna disturb anything underneath. You can see this is a really pretty color. It really doesn't add anything too offensive to the cheeks. Like, it's not like bright pink or anything, but it adds enough color to kind of liven up the face. It's really pretty. So for the powder blush, I'm gonna be taking this Clinique Pink Pop blush. This is just a really pretty, very fresh color. And I like this blush too because it does have a little bit of sheen to it. Notice I'm not using any products on my cheeks that have glitter. Do not want any glitter anywhere near my face because I feel like, I don't know, glitter can be tricky. I do also like to take some blush and put it on my temples just to kind of tie it in throughout the face. Now for my highlighter, I am only going to be using a cream. I'm not going to be using a powder because I really want my highlighter to just look like a glow. I don't want there to be any shimmer or sparkle. So this is my Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand. And this is a beautiful cream highlighter that gives you just that. And I'm just going to take it on the clean side of my beauty blender. This is a little bit risky, honestly, because this beauty blender is not clean at all. And just pat that on my tops of my cheekbones. Honestly, I would have like maybe 2 beauty sponges on you so that you can continue to use your sponge and not have to worry about cleaning it, especially if you're using it for multiple things. So now that I'm done with my foundation, concealer, and all the cheek products, I'm actually going to spray my face now with my long wear setting spray before I apply my mascara. I'm doing this before I apply my mascara because I don't want to, you know, give my mascara any chance to run or get smudged. And sometimes if you do spray your face with your mascara already on, you could risk some smudging, which I do not want to happen, especially after all that work. And I'm going to bake underneath my contour to clean it up and just make sure everything looks nice and smooth. So I'm just taking a nice amount of the powder and just kind of patting it right underneath. I don't want the line to be harsh, to be honest with you guys, but I also don't want it to look messy. You could also use the powder to kind of blend the edges of your cheek products if you feel like they're looking a little bit unblended for whatever reason. So I'm unsure with what I want to do with the lower lash line. I don't know if I want to keep it bare-ish or if I want to do something a little bit smokier. I think I'm gonna keep it bare-ish. So I'm going to go into Freckle from the Natasha Denona palette, and I'm just going to blend a little bit of that color underneath my lower lash line just so it's not completely bare. And there's something there to kind of tie the whole eye together. So for the inner corner of my eyes, I'm actually gonna take some of the cream highlighter that I used. I'm just gonna pick up some with a fluffy brush, and I'm just going to apply that on the inner corner of the eye to add some brightness there. Just because I really like the way this highlighter looks on the skin. It gives such a nice glow. Apply some on my brow bone. So now it's time to really finish off the eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some lashes, mascara, and I'm also going to do my brows. So for lashes, I would either recommend doing individuals or doing a half lash on the outer corner, because crying with a full lash on the eye, it can be done. It can, but I feel like you're safer off by just having lashes on the outer corner because they're not going to get moist from the tears that happen on the inner corner of the eye. So I'm actually gonna be taking my lashes. These are the For Real though from Velour. They're the Effortless Lash. I love these because they look really nice and natural looking, but they still give that nice va-va-voom effect. They're not like over the top. And I think they're really perfect for bridal too. And I'm going to trim these in half and pop them on my outer corner to really like accentuate that outer flick that I have going on. And then just do your brows how you normally would do your brows. So I'm gonna do all of that. It's kind of boring to watch, and I'll be right back. So I just filmed the ending of this video 3 times. I just realized my sound wasn't recording, so I'm not gonna redo what I did, but I'll just narrate what I did and I'll put the clips on top of this. So basically I did lose the clip of where I was finishing off my eyes. I just put a nude eyeliner on my waterline using the NARS High Pigment long wear eyeliner, just to really kind of brighten up the eyes and keep the eyes looking nice and open. And then I also put a liquid eyeliner on my lash line to hide the lash band, because sometimes the glue can make your lash band look a little bit gray, and you don't want that. You want it to really blend nicely into the rest of your lashes. So putting a little bit of liquid eyeliner there is going to help conceal that. As you can see, you can't see the lash band at all when I put my eyes down. For the lips, I did decide to do something more matte, which may be surprising to some of you because you guys know I love a good glossy lip, but most likely on your wedding day, you're gonna be kissing somebody. So a glossy lip formula just really isn't the most ideal because it just gets messy and kind of all over the place. A matte lip is going to stay in place a little bit more, but it is important to use a matte lip that's not going to be overly drying, that's going to be uncomfortable, it's gonna make your lips look crusty. I would rather use something that's not as long wearing that I just have to reapply throughout the day and night, rather than wearing something that's really long wearing that could potentially make my lips look really crusty. So I first lined my lips with the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Anywhere Caffeine, one of my favorite lip liners. And I also filled in my lips completely with this because if my lipstick does fade, I want there to be a solid color underneath. I don't want there to be like a weird outline. So filling in your lips completely will prevent that. And then for the lipstick, I use the Kaja Earhart lipstick in the shade Sweetheart. It's a really pretty kind of soft pink. This formula is really nice because it's lightweight, it's matte, but it's not matte where it looks dead and flat on the lips. It does have a little bit of like a shine, which is really pretty. And I just really like the formula of this. So that's the one that I decided to pop on. And then that finished off the entire look. And I gotta say, this is absolutely a makeup look that I could hypothetically see myself getting married in. All jokes aside, I hope that this video gave confidence to those of you who are planning on doing their makeup on their wedding day. I know it could be like a really daunting thing to do, but hopefully this tutorial helps you out in some way. It would make me very, very happy. Of course, hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video and subscribe if you are not subscribed already. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.